This is the Tree of Life, Season 31, Chapter 6. In this episode, we will be talking about attention and continuity in the affirmation of impulses according to a path. We discussed in previous episodes how an artifact of sublimation pursuant to tautological recursion creates extrusive impulses, which animate shifts in content across digital media. These extrusive impulses see larger shifts immediately proximate to sublimation, followed by smaller and smaller shifts in content as the artifact degenerates. In the end, however, these extrusive impulses become imperceptibly quantized until they become retrograde and intrusive. From this we can see that tautological recursion sees degeneration until parallel narrative structures exist to eliminate stacked perceptual experiences, produce contiguous perceptions centered around some common object. In consuming some artifact of sublimation, the self is subject to reverse substitution and sequential substitution to the extent that there are negational impulses within the narrative. The continuity of attention in reviewing said artifact flows through the affirmation both during reverse substitution and post-sublimation at the end of the substitution period. That is, in preference shifting, where the impulse subject to affirmation within reverse substitution is replaced by a second impulse through the substitution event, one digital structure replacing another. Or in merely the compelled phase flip of the original negational impulse to affirmation. In both cases, there are a myriad set of paths within infinite recursion which see continuity between the states which precede and follow sequential substitution according to a particular path. In narrative formation, we see the reversion of a digital structure in negation to itself, a breaking of continuity between the paths experienced by the self before and after the substitution event. That is, the attention of the subject is dislodged from one set and placed upon another without any continuity between the corresponding states. This lack of continuity in the experiences of the subject represent a leak in the conscious attention of that subject at the junction of negation. In other words, attention is carried in the continuity of a path in the affirmation provided to impulses. When synchronicity represents an intrusive impulse, something is lost from the attention of the subject, a dislodging of their consciousness from a set. What is attention then? Continuous attention is merely continuity represented by mirrored paths of affirmation. In review of an artifact of sublimation, continuity is established by reverse substitution, with negation leading to paths which ultimately result in affirmation of the negated impulse. The compelling of acquiescence, restriction of shifting between sets represented by preference shifting, results in a leaking of this continuity and attention, the severing of pockets of it from the path ultimately followed by the subject. This restriction often happens through nonlinear intersections, or through narrative structures eliminating stacked perceptual experiences, and rendering a subject's perceptions contiguous to some other. That's the end of the podcast for today.